smoking gun that would finally bring down FIFA's crumbling facade. That's what many were hoping for when German newspaper Bild planned to release a leaked version of Michael Garcia's original report. But what caught many by surprise was FIFA jumping the gun and releasing the full report themselves. Back in 2010, Bonita Merciades was a senior executive for the Australian World Cup bid. In Garcia's report, she's known as the Australian whistleblower. She's one of 75 whistleblowers who played a crucial role in giving the American investigator the documents and accounts that were made public on Tuesday.
You know, having had the document leaked, the only, I guess, sensible thing really for FIFA to do was to seize hold of the narrative before the German newspaper did and release it themselves. And so, you know, we see Gianni Infantino actually saying he's wanted this all along, which I think is the first time anyone's heard him say that. A lot of the information that's in there has come out either since then or before then anyway. But more to the point, you know, they said all along that there was nothing to see here. And if there's nothing to see here, there was no reason for it not to have been released.
The report has been a thorn in FIFA's side ever since Garcia left his position. He resigned in protest over the summary of his report that FIFA released. Garcia called it incomplete and erroneous. Merciades is now one of the spearheads of the new FIFA Now movement. She doesn't see how Garcia's original reaction adds up.
The only thing that seems to have changed is what it says about Sepp Blatter. So I suspect that somewhere along the line, there may have been some creative redrafting of what Eckert said. I don't know. But it does raise a question of why couldn't it have been done beforehand, and what was Garcia actually saying when he said it was materially different, because it doesn't seem to be.
Garcia's report may not be the smoking gun that many had hoped for, but it does provide even more evidence of highly questionable interactions between bid team members and influential members of FIFA's executive committee. Garcia was able to make these findings despite a clear lack of resources.
He didn't have powers to compel people to talk to him, which is really evident when you read through it. And he didn't have powers to investigate, for instance, bank accounts like the US and Swiss authorities do, which is where the real action is happening. I think FIFA just gave 9 terabytes of data recently to the Swiss authorities. 9 terabytes of data, I don't even know how many pages that is, but it's an awful lot. And by the time, you know, a relatively small and modest unit within, say, the Swiss Attorney General's office or the US unit that may be dedicated to this, it takes a very long time, not only to go through the material, but to connect all of the people who are involved in it and then make the connections between what's happened.
The US and Swiss authorities have had Garcia's full report since they began their own investigations. In that time, it's impossible to ignore the real progress made in trying to clean up FIFA. Many of the executive committee members from 2010 have either been banned or indicted. But for Merciades, there's still much more work to be done.
Unless you get the game reformed from outside, it's not going to get the type of systemic and cultural change that it needs. And that's because there's a culture that's been built up since 1974 that sees most of this as acceptable. It's out now. That's the main thing. I think we should welcome it. I think it is a good step towards transparency for FIFA, even if their motives may not be entirely pure. But until and unless they actually get some form of external intervention to introduce change and reform from the top down and the bottom up, you're still going to see these types of things going on in and around the game.
For much of the time between the summary report of 2014 and Tuesday's full publication, FIFA had publicly denounced Merciades' account of events.
Garcia Report isn't the important aspect of what we're dealing with now. It's interesting. It's good to have it. It's good to know from someone like me, my perspective. It vindicates everything I have said for a number of years. But the real action is whatever the Swiss authorities do and whatever the US authorities do, because they're the ones who have the ability to look at things that Garcia couldn't look at, and they are the ones who can take action.
For Merciades, the full Garcia report is a chance not only to draw a line under the past, but also to lay the groundwork for the inevitably painstaking work still ahead.